for another episode of CCM Discovery. As you know, CCM Discovery is not just about music. It started there, but we've been lucky enough to just start discovering a lot of different Christian people in different walks of life that are really making a difference. And that's what CCM Discovery is actually turning into. And today we have somebody who definitely fits that bill. He is a husband, he's a father, he's a grandfather, he's an extremely well respected and extremely funny comic. He's an author, and coming up later this month, he's going to be a movie star. So please thank God that he's here, Jeff Allen.
Hey, a movie star, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna touch on that. My seven grandpas,
Seven
but
grandmas. Yeah.
grandma. Oh, forgive me for that.
Yeah.
I got excited for a second because I thought grandpa because you got to do something very recently. I saw on Instagram that was amazing, and I really want to hear what it was like for you when you baptized your granddaughter.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I might get verklempt talking about that. That was special. It was really interesting about her. She was a mature little 9-year-old. She quit going to Sunday school. We get the grandkids periodically, and we asked our son who walked away from the faith if it was all right if we took his children to church, and he said, "Yeah, I don't care." So anyway, we started bringing them to church with us, and they would go to Sunday school, and we would sit. And then a couple years ago, she said, "Papa, Mimi, can I sit with you?" And what she called big girl church. I want to sit with the adults. And she asked, I'll give you one of the questions. If Jesus is God, who made Jesus? For a 9-year-old, are you kidding? I told her, ask Pastor Jeff, not Papa Jeff. 'Cause that's a pretty deep question. So we have baptisms at our church every final Sunday, the last Sunday of every month. We do baptisms. And she had been there for a number of them, and we would ask, are you ready to be baptized? And she would say, no, Papa, Mimi, I'll let you know. April, Easter Sunday, the pastor did an altar call, which they do periodically at our church. It's not every Sunday. And it wasn't this bow your head, raise your hand. We feel that this is the greatest. If Jesus has got your heart, you're not worried about raising your hand or bowing your head. You're going to stand up and make a commitment, in front of everybody. We're not trying to embarrass you, but if you're embarrassed by doing that, you're not ready yet. That's our pastor's
Exactly.
feeling. So anyway, he said, if you're ready, come on up, we'll pray with you. And Lydia jumped right up and ran down the aisle. you know and anyway, I got up and I followed her up there because I wanted to pray with my granddaughter. Anyway, we're sitting there. I'm crying because I'm just elated that I'm going to see my granddaughter for eternity. And I look up and there's 4 other papas standing there with their grandchildren. We're all just crying. I wish we had that on film because that was like one of those moments in life where you just go, "Holy cow!" I'm not
Oh
alone.
man.
I'm not a freak that I want to just sob that my granddaughter is going to come to know the Lord. And anyway, a couple months later, I think we did the baptism. Which is what you saw on Instagram. I was able to and bring her in, and right before I dunked her, I said to her, "Look around," and there was 700 or 800 people there. I said, "This is your new family.
Oh man.
This is your new family." I said, "They will be there for you, thick, thin, throughout, and you got a long journey ahead of you, baby girl. So, welcome to the family." And then I put her under, and yeah, and as we're walking out. She leans over again. She's just so smart. She leans over. She says, "What does this mean, Papa?" And I said, "It means you and I are going to spend eternity together, girl. There's a lot of years, a lot of living between that. But I'm going to go see my mom when that time comes. And you and I are going to be together in eternity." And she goes, "I don't understand." I go, "You don't have to.
Nope.
You don't have to. Just walk the
Oh
walk,
man.
babe.
I
So
tell you,
cool."
Jeff, goosebumps. You gave me
Yeah,
goosebumps
I
for telling
know.
that story.
It's
And
so
I think
powerful. I mean, again, I tell people, people. I have friends that don't believe what I believe, and they go, well, and I go, yeah, but I understand what I believe and why that just fills my heart and soul with such joy. You know, um, I mean, it's just, and again, we didn't, despite what most atheists think, we didn't manipulate her in, and we didn't, you know, scare her to death. You're going to go to hell, if you,
yep, yep.
so,
You didn't indoctrinate her, Jeff. You
no,
didn't tell her, these are the rules. You must follow these rules, or your life will be miserable.
right. And the Holy Spirit got her, took her heart, and I hope and I pray that she leads her father back to what he knew as a child. I really do.
And I think that's what is missing. And um, I don't know if you know, I was on Christian radio back in the '80s and
Oh,
'90s.
wow. Okay.
Back in when we all refer to it as the golden age, when the music was just really good,
Yeah.
and it spoke to people. And I think that's what's missing, not just in music today, but in churches today, is the joy that I could see coming from you, the joy that was giving me goosebumps. I think people have
Yeah.
lost the joy of the Lord. You
Right.
get so caught up in the political stuff that you forget about the joy.
Well, it's interesting. When I started with Gaither back in the 90s, I had never heard of him. I mean, I was a brand new believer, and we ended up through circumstances. Bob McKenzie, who you probably are familiar with,
Yep.
Bob saw me somewhere and then said, I work with a guy named Bill Gaither. And I said, who's that? And he goes, oh, this is going to be better than I thought. You know, you never heard of Bill Gaither? I go, no, I never have. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, we do a little gathering in Indianapolis.
Little
That little
gathering.
gathering was 15,000 people, praise gathering. But we had lunch together. I had with lunch with Bill, and it was very funny because I said, Mr. Gaither, I'm not that familiar with you. He goes, oh, yeah, never heard of me? I go, no, I never have. And he said, wow, this is good. This is good, And he told me a third of his audience will laugh at whatever I do. They're going to come out. They're going to have a good time. They may not even, understand you. And the other third, there's another third that may not understand a word you say. They don't get the humor, but they're going to laugh along with the first third because, again, they're there to experience the joy of being together. And then there's another third of my audience that has never been given permission to laugh their entire life. They have been told that this walk on earth is something you endure until you get to heaven. And then when you get to heaven, the joy really begins. And he said, if you can make that third laugh, we'll have a long relationship. And that was about a month before I worked for him. And I did my 15-minute set at the opening night at Praise Gathering. And while they were applauding, he walked up, put his arm around me, and leaned over and said, you got him all the way to the back wall. Thank you.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I wasn't even familiar with that. I mean, I can't imagine. I learned to say to people, at churches, sometimes I'd be working and there'd be two guys or, whatever, grumpy up front. And I would say, yeah, you having a good time? They go, yeah. I go, tell your face, and you look like you're not having a whole lot of fun here. And so anyway, I understand people. My father-in-law, I don't think I ever heard him laugh out loud the entire time I knew him. But he came up to me the night I met the night he came out to see me after I was engaged to his daughter. He saw me perform, and I'm watching him the whole show, and he ain't laughing. He's just looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, Anyway, he comes up after the show, and goes, man, you're a funny man. Holy cow. And then, after meeting my mother-in-law over time, I realized she just drained the joy out of anybody. The poor guy, was stuck with her for 50 years. So I guess I understood.
I got to meet Bill Gaither one time back in, I believe it was like 91 or 92, is when he was touring with Michael English and Mark Lowry.
Oh, okay.
And just being near him is weird. There's just so
Yeah.
much, there's something coming off that guy that's just amazing.
I thought he was kind of like an idiot savant. I mean, his knowledge of his catalog of gospel music was, when you really sit night after night after night on that stage and watch him work a show, because it's different every night. It He just kind of knew when the audience wanted some laughs. He knew when the audience wanted some tears. He orchestrated this 4 to 5 hour event every night. And he would look at Kevin and go, you know what, we need, play this song here. And he'd bring the singer up to sing the song. There was no real order to what he did. You just had to be ready to perform. And you knew what the singers knew what songs they were going to sing. I knew what comedy I was going to do. I just didn't know when I was going to fit into the night. And it was brilliant. I mean, it absolutely was brilliant. I don't know of anybody else that can do that with that many songs and that much um material to deal with, to work with, and to entertain people for 4 hours. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and
phenomenal,
nobody's
man.
bored. Nobody gets bored.
Not at
It
all. I
it
mean, you got 10,000, 12,000 people sitting in a room. My favorite people were the ones that would come out to me at my table and say, "Tell Bill to turn it down. It's a little loud." I go, "Oh, sure." Edna in row X, C22 says it's a little loud. Could you dial it down a bit? Yeah, right. I'll get
Yeah.
right to him on that.
Yeah, I'll go tell the legend he's a smidge loud. I'll just let him know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know best. So
Yeah. Did you have any idea that when you started working, when the spirit overtook you, that music would be such a big part of your new journey? Because I say that because on your podcast, Who Gave Jeff Allen a Podcast?
yes.
Um, you've had Michelle Pilar, you've had Gary Muldeer, you've had Rebecca St. James. These are all
Yeah.
huge music people.
Ben
And
Fuller. I just had Ben Fuller.
oh, really? I haven't heard that one yet. Okay.
He is his music. I told him. I said it was interesting because my co-host Carolyn Xavier, the recovering Californian, who's a relatively new believer. She's fun to be around. I love being around new believers because they bring you back to that honeymoon phase of walking with Jesus that I tend to forget periodically. And to get drawn into that enthusiasm, it's like being around a newlywed. You remember what it was like to the first part of your marriage, and before life attacks you. So Ben, I did research on him, and holy cow! Tammy walked in. I was in my basement. I was getting ready to work out, and I decided to throw on Ben Fuller. He sang at San Quentin for the prisoners, and uh, I'm weeping as Tammy walks in. I'm crying. She's like, "Who died?" You know, nobody died. He was singing
Jesus.
his song. Yeah, well, Jesus did. Yeah, he was singing Black Sheep. And what a powerful, powerful song, man. Talking about that hard heart of yours. It's not so hard when you're alone trying to hide the tears that you don't want nobody to see. But the good news is he'll never let you be. Jesus loves you, black sheep. You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's funny, in the interview, he was telling us how he had a fight with the label. I forget who he's with, but he had a fight with the label to get that song on the record. And he said, "What you hear is the demo. They wouldn't even let me recut it." And I told him his story is just again, it's a Jesus story. He came to Nashville to be a country star. He was an alcoholic, and somebody invited him to dinner because he was from Vermont, and they heard he was from Vermont, and they said, "Will you come to church with us tomorrow?" And he said, "I was raised that when somebody did something nice for you, you did something nice back. So I didn't want to say no. So I went to church, and it was City of God, I think, which we used to go to as People's Church." And he said he walked in, and he said it wasn't 3 minutes. He said my feet were elevated off the floor. I heard that music, and I knew this was what I was going to do.
Isn't
And
that
I
great
cried.
when
It
that
was a
happens?
road to Damascus conversion right there. He said, "I don't even know where my hosts were." I just was standing in the middle of that church, just soaking in that sound. And again, I highly recommend finding and listening to his lyrical. It was like you talked about the CCM in the '80s and the '90s. That music that just it just grabs your heart, and the joy that comes from it, but the ministry that comes off of it. You just know this was a powerful, powerful conversion. And I said, "You got a fan for life in me, bud." You know. Uh,
I've mentioned it before. That's one of the most exciting things about me getting to do this is now I just wrote down Ben Fuller,
oh yeah,
and now
grab them.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna die, and that's why I like, God gave us the idea CCM discovery, because now I've just discovered Fuller,
right.
and I'm really looking forward to that. And another thread that I'm seeing is I get to talk to artists like yourself, and we talked to Scott Wesley Brown earlier, and the Man Clan, a band out of Tennessee. There's there's a I call it God's hand on your shoulder, because even though no matter when you get from here to here, y- but the whole time when you're in the in between, God's hand is on your shoulder,
Right.
and the only time you don't feel it is when you pull away. And then when you finally get to the end of that certain struggle, or where you can take a breath, that's when you look back and you see how God guided you through what you were going through.
Absolutely. I was just interviewed a friend of mine for our podcast called Brad Stein, and
Oh,
we Brad
very,
talked
I love that
about
guy. Yep.
in every believer's life there comes a dark moment, a dark time, a dark and you trudge on with your faith. And we started to ask him, what was your dark moment? And in the 2.5 hours that we interviewed him, are you there?
Yes, we're here. You blinked off for a second, but we're still here. We're still here, Jeff. I can see you. I'm not sure if you can see me. Nope, I can see you. Can't hear you, but I can still see you. Oh, I think we got sound back, Jeff.
Are you
Oh,
there?
I see you. Yep. Hey, we're back. All right.
Oh my gosh, the phone rang. It was my wife's sister. She does my branding, and we're working on a new tour. And I shut it off on my watch, and it froze the screen. Um,
That's okay.
this isn't
You were
is this live? I mean, are people live on this? Are
today.
you?
Actually, we're recording. We're gonna run
Okay,
it next
good.
week.
So you can edit
Yep.
that out.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
talking
And
about
it's real life. It doesn't matter.
yeah, I
It's
was
just what
talking
happens
about
happens.
Brad, but we never got to his dark moment. And then last night we're in small group at our house, and one of the young people there that we allow one young couple to sit amongst us old people. And Craig started talking about a crisis of faith, and he it was the first we heard of it. We've been in a small group for two years with these people, and he said I almost walked away, and I was stunned. I go, when? He said 4 or 5 years ago, man. He said I don't know what happened, but I woke up one day and I said, really, you spit out of the whale, you know, parted the Red Sea, walked across, with it, come on, really? And I said, how did you reconcile it? And he said, uh, as fast as that came in, it was a period of time. But then I realized that I worship a God that doesn't exist within the three dimensions that I live. I worship a God who created all of this. He's out of time and space. So can he you that's why they're miracles. They're one-time events. And the same kind of intellect that pushed me out of it got me back in it. But uh and then today we were interviewing somebody and he talked about a dark time where he walked away from the faith. And I had my own moment. I was about 5 years in to this walk, and I was involved in some sin, porn. I'm not going to lie. For whatever reason, um, I just on the road, uh, and I realized I couldn't live the perfect life. And I remember talking to Tammy and saying, "I can't live this. I can't be a hypocrite. I can't continue to work in the genres I'm working in and continue to do this." And then I sat with a friend of mine and he said, "So God's grace isn't enough for you?" And I, "What do you mean?" He goes, "What you're saying is that God's grace is not enough for you to follow him. You need to be better." And I didn't quite get my head around it. But then within a short period of time, I realized I got on my knees and I said, I'm accepting your grace. That if you can forgive me for the sins that I've committed, then who am I to not accept that as enough?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
got
you're so
people
right.
people came into my life like Nate Larkin, who deals, Samson Society, and I meet every Monday for years now on Zoom with six guys, and we just kind of walk each other through life together. So out of that darkness came these beautiful men that helped me walk through life, and I can be the husband that I was supposed to be, and that God created in me, and all of that. But that was a dark time, and I realized at some point when I look back 5 years from where God had brought me to where I was that day, there was no way I was going back to that man because that was the alternative. So I just basically said, "I'm yours, God. I'm yours. All of this imperfection is yours. Do with it as thou will."
That's I think so many times when the bottom line of accepting God into your life is it's very simple. We make it difficult.
Oh, and it's not an easy walk. It really isn't.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
no. The walk isn't easy. The allowing God in is the easy
it's
part.
really simple. It's a simple, yeah, yeah. But hit this refining period, which is the rest of our life. This iron sharpens iron. Yeah, he's not going to leave you where you're at. Trust me. And I used to tell churches when I was working a lot of them, I go, "You want to have some fun with the Lord? Get on your knees every day for a month, and every day ask him to show you what he sees in your heart.
Oh wow.
Reveal to me, Lord, what you see in there." And I can remember laying more than once in the fetal position, going, "I'm done. Okay, I got, yeah." I didn't
Yeah.
realize I was that selfish. I really didn't, you know.
Yeah, it's the it's learning who we are to be better for God. That
Yeah,
is so it's the hard part because it makes us face our own ourselves.
Well,
And that
it's our
that's where we
humanity.
struggle.
It's our humanity.
Right.
When you read the verses in Genesis, it changes. You can read them as a non-believer and then read them as a believer, and you understand what the fall was and how powerful that was. Um, and You don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. I'm blessed to have not had the demons that some of the people that I've talked to over the years have had in their life, and it's this walk on earth is so you grab the joy when you can. I think I did an interview with Glenn Beck for my book, and Beck said something that was really powerful. He said he had a son that I think it was his son. It was a loved one. That attempted suicide, And he tried to sit him down, and he said, "Look, you have to understand this life here is really mundane. It really is. Now you may watch the internet and think that everybody's having this just exciting every day of their life, but it's not. But God gives us these flashes of brilliance, His revelation to us in these heartbeats, and those have to sustain you. You have to understand that those moments are not daily, I mean, are weekly, but they come, and you have to be ready and prepared for them, and soak them in, man. Soak them in, whether it's a sunset or you just have to allow him to speak to you at those moments. And ever since then that I heard that, um, last week, 2 weeks ago, we were in Montana with the grandkids and jumping off a cliff. That was one of those moments when I watched my little 9-year-old grandson jump off a 20-foot cliff. You know, I was like, "Holy cow, man! Are you kidding me?" And he gets up, he goes, "Papa!" You know? Yeah.
That's great. You mentioned your book. Are we there yet?
Yes.
I I'm just about done with it, and this is a book that I am going to recommend to every person I meet
Oh, thank
because
you.
it, Jeff, the story that you tell, I mean, it's very specific to you,
Yeah.
but everything I read about made said something to me. I mean, I may not have done some of the things you've
Right.
done, and you haven't done some of the things I've done. But the story, again, hand on the shoulder, where it takes you from the begin to where you were to your simply amazing wife, Tammy. I've got to meet this woman. You know?
I wish she was here to hear that. She's going through some hard times right now, and
Oh,
just with
please
family
tell
and
her
things.
she's. We will raise her up in prayers because that is an
Right.
amazing
Please
woman.
do. Raise us both
Oh,
up. We
of
have
course. Oh,
family issues. But here's a funny story. I worked the Fisher Center here in Nashville, and I told her, this is one of the rare times she comes out to see me work. And I said, "Baby, if I introduced you and you came out at the end of the show, standing O, I'm telling you,
oh,
people,
yeah.
you could stand there and do the Queen thing. Just wave your hand."
Oh yeah, from what I read about her in your book, wow.
Yeah,
What a blessing she has been to you. I don't want to take any of this. I don't want to give any of the book away, except
right.
to say this: people have got to read "Are We There Yet?" It will change your life because it will make you see there is a way. You're going to get through this. Just keep moving,
Right.
keep believing, and keep trusting the people that God has put in your life to be there for you.
Yeah, it's funny. The women that want to meet her, I get emails from or I get messages from on Facebook. Just how did she put up with you? And then and I said it probably always helped that I was gone half the year just traveling. I think if I was the man I was, this cloud that lived in her home 24/7, probably would have been too much to take. But the fact that I would go out on the road and she'd kind of at least get away from me for 5 days or whatever, and give her a chance to. But it was, yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Uh, uh, Tammy said to me recently that I wouldn't marry the woman I am today. Wouldn't even date the man you were. And I go, well, I wouldn't date the woman you were. you know. So it's same. It's the same.
Yeah.
you know. So. But it's again when two broken people get together, two wounded people get together, and you realize, like you said, hand on shoulder. You look back and you realize God's hand was in this because we did try to end it. I mean, we were 10 minutes from divorce court, filing papers, so we did end it. I mean, and for all intents and purposes, we just never filed those papers. So. Uh, and then you realize that I do anyway how close I came to losing um, this person, and it's sobering and it's humbling, and I've spent the better part of 30 years trying to make up for those first 8 years, of our marriage, uh, and it's been a wonderful. It's been worth it, and that's what I try to tell couples is just God put you together, and believe me, if on paper we don't belong together, we have very little in common of interests and things, but for whatever reason, God took these really shattered people and somehow put a mosaic together that I hope is inspiring enough to people to at least give it a try. I mean, I understand circumstances are circumstances, but marriage the long haul is worth it. It really is. We just took a vacation together to California, and 7, 8, 10 days. I don't know how long it was. We started on the Oregon coast, and I can't imagine the two people we were when we got married ever being able to spend 7 or 8 days together alone in a car, just driving the West Coast. You know? Uh,
See,
we we
my
we would
faith.
have one of us would have shoved the other one out of the car at some point. you know.
Oh, that's funny. My faith was instilled in me and my mother, and one of the things that my mother believes in angels, and and one thing that she always kind of said to me is, you may not hear it, but when what God wants to happen happens, there are so many angels cheering and jumping up and down and laughing. And while you were telling me about, and I did read that in the book when you were talking about the divorce papers,
Yeah,
I'm just seeing in through my mother's eye, you guys standing wherever you were, and there's like 50 angels around you just cheering and yeah, we did it. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can. It's funny you say that because I do have that image in my head that there's all this stuff going on, uh, because the Bible's clear: demonic realms, angelic realms, and all this stuff. When I first read Job, I wasn't even a believer yet. I was just enamored with the Bible. The friend of mine that gave me the tapes, and I'm reading Job, and I got this image of God and Satan sitting at a Starbucks, and Satan going, "Give it up, you lose. Everybody down there is mine." And he said, "I got one. I got Job." And he goes, "Yeah, well, you've given him everything, you know." And God says, "Take it all away. He'll still be mine, And when your field hands come in out, and it wasn't like they said, our cattle has hoof and mouth, a disease. They said there's fireballs coming from the sky. They're roasting our cows on the hoof. I mean, literally on the hoof. We're out of here. We're done. This is beyond. You did something, uh, you know. And so anyway, and then when his wife said, "Curse God," are you still worshiping? Curse God and die. At that point in my life, I laughed. I read that and I laughed out loud. I go, "Yeah, hello,"
Yep.
you know. And in the end, it's a beautiful story. How everybody got it wrong. Everybody got it wrong, And for whatever reason, we live in a fallen world, and this is the stuff that happens to us. And it's not necessarily by design, but it's just part of this life. And uh, where are you going to turn? Where are you going to turn when times get hard? You can point your finger and shake your fist at the heavens, but in the end, this walk is the only walk that makes sense. In the end, I mean, I'm gonna endure this, and I'm gonna be better for it. Being put through that fire, I'm going to be better for it. And it's hard, it's difficult to sit. We're going through family issues right now, and we believe that our little girl got baptized, brought the Holy Spirit into the home, and now the
Yep.
demonic realm is going to work on destroying that little girl, by dividing her father from his family. And so we're praying every day, just that Lydia stays strong, that she stays true to her newfound faith, and we believe that in the end it'll work out. in God's time, it'll work
Well,
out. And we
and I
just,
love how you just said that God's time.
right. Yeah, he doesn't. What did MacArthur say? Was it MacArthur that said it? Uh, God invented time, man invented the watch.
Yeah.
We just like to micromanage God. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and you touched on it earlier when you said, when she asked you who created Jesus,
yeah,
and it takes it. We have to remember that we are humans. We fear death at some level,
right,
and we know it's coming. We
right.
have the birth, we have the death, and we got the dash in the middle, and but God doesn't have that.
Not at all. He's not
So
even in three dimensions. He's out,
no,
beyond this, and it's hard. I mean, I think Thomas More wrote a book. I tried to read it. They said that was the quintessential work on the Trinity, and it's beyond my capabilities. I'm not that smart.
but you don't have to be. You just have to believe, and
Not at
and
all.
and
Not at
and,
all.
and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Now, your book talks about all your addictions and stuff like that, but let's talk about the fun addiction, golf.
Oh my gosh, a whole chapter on it. Yes, and it's funny. People laugh when I tell them that I almost lost my marriage to that stupid game. And
It's
yeah,
not a game, Jeff. It's a way of life.
thank you. Then obviously you're a golfer and you understand. My God, finally, I got a kindred spirit. Someone who
Well, I,
understands.
I appreciate the compliment. I can't call myself a golfer. I play golf,
Yeah.
but I can't call myself a golfer. But you also touched on it earlier that every once in a while you get those moments of brilliance, of clarity, and that's usually I get like 3 of those around.
Oh
It's
boy,
like,
you're
"Oh, that
good.
was my okay, I know how to play this game." And,
Yeah.
and then you 4 putt. But, yeah, but
It
you
really
get.
is a metaphor for life. Like I just told you,
Yep,
it's this mundane, angering, but those flashes of brilliance,
yep.
that one shot is like, and you can hear the harps.
Yep.
Metaphorically, I hear harps.
My mother
Um,
would agree with you.
yes, and yeah, I just played with a good friend of mine. I've become a social golfer. Finally, I tried for years to be one, but I couldn't get out of my head how important that stupid score was to me. And now I'm at a point where I'm not there yet. I have a dear friend of mine who played competitive golf, and he's a really good golfer. But we played the other day, and I said, "No, you don't keep score." He goes, "Oh, I haven't kept score for years." He goes, "I don't never know what I shoot. I don't even care. If I take too many swings, I just pick up and go to the next tee." I said, "Boy, that's where I want to get. That's my new goal, is to just go out and walk." I bought for myself a one of those carts that follow you when you walk around,
Oh, okay, yeah.
those electric things. So I'm trying to walk every round, even though it's in Nashville here, it's 95 and 100 degrees. I'm good for 9 at least. I know I can make 9, and the good days I do 18. And um, I really, really am enjoying the game so much more than I ever have, because there's no self worth. That's what I wrote about in the book. I didn't
Yep.
realize how connected my self worth was to that number, and to take it out on your family when you got home. Hello.
Yep, we're here.
All right, I'm gonna leave. Hello, I'm back. I think I
We're
figured
here.
out when the phone rings. You know what? I made a mistake the other day. I really believe Rocket Mortgage is a den of Satan. I really do. I
Well,
all I
let's hope they're
ask.
not sponsoring this show. Let me check. No, we're
Check and
good.
see
Okay.
if they are, because I'm telling you, man, I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I will be shouting from the stage. This You do not do this ever. Do this. I was just watching a movie, and Tammy and I are talking about doing. We're old, as you can tell, and we have our laundry room in the basement of our home. And my fear is that my beautiful wife is going to fall down the stairs one day when I'm out of town, and I won't be able to do anything about it. So a doctor told me that on the road. He goes, "What do you think the biggest killer of people your age is?" And I go, "Heart disease." You know, he goes, "How do you think that?" But no, it's a fall. You guys fall, you break a bone, you wind up in the hospital, you get staph, and you die. Well, that's a pretty picture. You know, thank you. So anyway, we decided we're going to do an addition to our home, but we're waiting for interest rates to come down. And I get on Rocket Mortgage. Just curious what the interest rates are today for a second. Our first mortgage is 285. I'm not refinancing
Oh, heck no.
that, but we have equity, and I was just wondering what it was. So anyway, I made the mistake of giving Rocket Mortgage myself, and every day now for 2.5 weeks, I get 30 calls a day. From people who want to give me money, and that was one of them right there. It's slowing down, but it's not there yet. I mean, we're not there yet. Speaking of, are we there yet? We're not there
No,
yet.
that was a nice circle. I like that. Well, you are a professional, Jeff.
I
That was
am,
well
man.
done.
I work on recalls. I work on but I will shout from the rooftops now. Do not ever give your cell phone number to Rocket Mortgage.
You were talking about the golf, and
Oh, that's right.
I learned a long time ago that I will never be a good golfer. So I have 3 rules when I play. Single digits, finish the day with as many balls as you started with,
That's a
and
good one.
have fun. You know?
Yeah, it's funny. My
And if I hit
practice.
1, 2, or 3 of those, I had a good day. You
Yeah,
know?
it's funny. I was on the range a month ago, and I went in, and there's a young pro at the course I was at. He played some Corn Ferry events. He's a very good player. And I walked in, and he said, "How'd it go?" And I said, I had one goal when I started that range session. I just wanted to hit 3 balls that looked the same in a row. Same trajectory, same curvature, same. He goes, "That's actually a good goal." I go, "Yeah, well, after about 100 balls in my back, now I got to go home and sit in a bucket of ice." I didn't do it. I wasn't able to do it in over an hour, and I played. Uh, I'm 69, so 4 years ago I shot my age 65. And I thought, and I made the mistake most golfers do after shooting a number like that. Called a friend of mine and said, "I really think I'm at a point now where I can get the golf ball to relatively do what I want it to do." And the next day, same golf course, I shot 82. Uh, 17 shot difference with the same golf swing, same. So I realize, I hate this game. I really do. It's just like an abusive relationship that you read about with men and women. Why do you date her? I don't know. There's something about her. I just keep getting drawn back to her. Yeah, but she like pushed you out of a car. I understand that. But gosh, when it's good, it is so good. It is so good. And I haven't shot, I didn't shoot my age at 66, 67. I have an argument with a friend of mine on 69. I shot 69 2 weeks before my 69th birthday. He says, "You were 68. You didn't shoot your age." And I said, "Well, but I shot 69. I'm 69 now." He goes, "Yeah, but you did it when you were 68." So we're split. I got 50% of my golfing friends say, "You've shot your age 69. You can tell people you shot 60 your age." And then the other guys go, "No, you didn't. You did not." So
I'm
now I
gonna
got to
have to
try to
go with
figure
you.
out how to shoot
Uh,
69 this year, and I'm not even close yet. I haven't even come close. So,
well, I shot a 69 once, and then on the second 4 holes, I did even better.
oh,
So
that's yeah. But you're right. I mean, it really isn't. It should never be at our level about the number. It should be about certainly fellowship, enjoying the, because you're with 4 hours. I just played golf with my son in Montana. First round of golf we've ever played together. He's 41 years old. He asked me before we came to visit, "Would you be willing to play around 9 holes with me around the golf?" Are you kidding me? You're speaking my love language. Finally, you know, I've been waiting your whole life. He he never. I don't think he hit one ball in the direction of the target. Um, but the nice thing was he'd just pick up and he'd come up to the green with me. It was really for him about spending 2 hours with his father, and that was so heartwarming to me. And um, I thought I blew it with my kids because I was gone so much. I really did. He's done a ton of work. He came back from Iraq with PTSD and TBI, and through the work of getting through the we just interviewed a guy for our podcast that just he was at the Covenant shooting in Nashville. He's a police officer, and I didn't even know this. He was only 2 weeks out of rehab or out of dealing with his PTSD from his job. 18 years as a SWAT commander and also canine at SWAT, and he wants to shout the alarm to first responders and their families to get help for this. He said the average American experiences maybe 4 to 6 traumatic experiences in their life. Law enforcement is 180. He thinks it's more like 600. But I mean, I can't imagine um, even 75 major
Right.
traumas in your life, you know. And then my son was in Iraq, and God knows how many he experienced, but he came back pretty jacked up. And there was a deep intensive that he was able to get into at last minute because one of the soldiers committed suicide, and it opened up a bed, and my son was able to get in. And he told me this last week when we were visiting. Um, he was so close to suicide for a couple of weeks, really, really bad, and that bed opened up. You know, praise God.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and he said that intensive saved my life to be able to sit with all these other soldiers that were going through this for 7 days and deal with that. So to get me on the golf course, to go back to the golf,
yeah.
it was a major breakthrough for him because we had whatever issues he had with me. We were able to talk him through them while we were there, and that's all I've ever wanted. I said to my youngest son, you know, the one we're dealing with now, just let's go away for a weekend. You can yell at me. I'm ready. I can handle it. Just let me know. I mean, I understand the abandonment. I understand that. I didn't know any other way to put food on the table and a roof over your head. I really didn't, you know. So I was gone all the time. I was gone. But you know, your life was what your life was. You can't change all of that. But going forward, we can work through all of that and maybe have 10 years together that would edify both of our lives, you know. But he just goes, no, everything's fine, Dad. No, it's not. You won't even step foot in my house. You know, it's not fine. You know, this isn't fine. It's not. Your wife has not stepped foot in our house in years. She sits in the driveway. So let's have it out.
Yeah. But
Call me every name you got
okay.
to call me. I'm okay. You know, I get it. But don't sit there and tell me everything's good.
There must be some, even though I can't imagine how difficult that is for you, but you know that God's working on it.
Absolutely. I mean, and
You,
again, through his daughter. I mean, for Lydia, you
yeah.
know, that was not even on our radar. We prayed for it. We pray for it every week. That our sons, we pray every day. That our prayer at dinner every night is, God capture their hearts, capture their homes, and remind them who you are, because they were. My youngest was our little evangelical. He was sharing the gospel on the bus when he was 10, 11, 12 years old. You know, my favorite story, he comes home, he goes, I shared about Jesus to Justin today. And I said, really, what'd he say? He said, he's like 12 years old. He said, he's got to get back to me. So anyway, I don't know, a couple of weeks went by, we're eating dinner. And I said, hey, by the way, whatever happened with Justin and Jesus? And Ryan says, he said he's got a lot of beer to drink and women to see. So I think Justin shared it with his dad. And I said, how cool is that?
Yeah.
That you're through you're a conduit of the gospel, through Justin asking, having his dad answer questions. Who knows? Maybe at some point, Justin's dad will look up and go, "Gee, I wonder what what you keep." So I said, "You keep asking Justin, how's it going
Yeah.
with the Jesus thing?" But
Yeah. And that's
he was our
just
little
the way it
evangelical.
works.
And then my youngest son's best friend, Austin, who used to come to our home when he was 13, 14 years old, and he would say, "Mr. Jeff, I'm an atheist." And I'd say, "Austin, you're not smart enough to be an atheist. Why don't you be an agnostic?" And he'd go, "What's that?" Proving my point. And then I said, he said, "What's that?" And I said, you don't know. I said, "Why don't you leave your mind open just a crack that maybe the God of the Bible is true? If you just, and live your life with that little bit of doubt, and then maybe God can work its way through that crack and reveal himself to you, which is what you really need is a revelation. You don't really need an explanation. The explanations don't really work, but I tell you that revelation is powerful because I've experienced it. And anyway, he died on a glacier when he was 19 in New Zealand. He fell through a crack and fell and he died. And my youngest son came to me and said, "So Austin's in hell now, isn't he?" And I said, "First of all, heaven and hell are not my domain. Who God lets in and doesn't let in is not my domain." I said, "I will tell you this. We went online and looked up the article in New Zealand about his death, and he was on that glacier with two other children, two other young men, and they both were Bible believing Christians. So you and I have no idea what was discussed in that glacier and what was discussed for those hours they lived in the crevice waiting for rescue. You have no idea." And I said, Austin grew up here. He heard the gospel his whole life. So that revelation may have come um,
Yeah.
while he was sitting there. So Austin may be in heaven right now, going, "Holy cow, you know, it's
Yeah.
true."
Yeah. When you think about it like that, it just takes 1 second of, hey, you're right. You're
Right,
real.
right.
And
And that
and
revelation, you know it, I know it, it's very powerful. When
yeah.
Ben Fuller knows it, you know, that revelation when you walk into church after a meal, just with no idea, you know. He said he brought beers over to that person's house because he said, "I didn't know." He goes, "I didn't know how to even socialize without, and I didn't know if there'd be any beer there." And these beautiful Christian people just watched him open up beer and drink it, So
Oh, no, that's great, man. Jeff, it's been so much fun talking to you. But before we go, August 26th, Nashville, Tennessee,
Belcourt. Yeah.
Belcourt, not too far from what I claim is my hometown of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I only lived there for about a year and a half,
Oh
but I
wow.
actually fell in love with Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Yeah.
But you have a movie coming out, and I'm going to
I
get the
do.
name right this time. My
My
Seven Grandmas.
my seven grandmas, and I have a very funny story about the shooting of that. The premise is that my wife of 40 whatever years dies in January, and in Minnesota you can't bury people in a cemetery in January because the ground's frozen. So you have to wait until the spring, fall, or summer. So we're having the funeral, and my daughter comes in from the West Coast with my granddaughter, and that's anyway. We're at the scene where I got to walk with my daughter down to bury my wife, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm not really a professional actor, so I'm trying to figure out what's the appropriate. Do I cry? Do I? If I do cry, how much is it? Am I, you know, how sad am I going to be? And I'm a tough, Minnesota guy, and all of that. So we did about 6 takes. Some were over the top, some were not enough, some were. We're ready to do a seventh take, and I lean over to the actress and I tell the girl, I tell Candace, "I can't bury my dog one more time." And she goes, "Is that what you're using?" I said, "Absolutely, man. I got an old boxer at home, man, and all I got to see is his little gray face and I know he's short for I know he is. We're on borrowed time, and it doesn't take much. I just think of Blake, and I get emotional, So anyway, we're ready to do the seventh take, and you know how they clap that board,
Yep.
action.
Oh,
So
they
anyway,
really do that?
yes. Well, they do it for sound. I guess. So anyway, they're getting ready to do it, and Candace leans over and in my ear goes, "Woof." I lost it. I just started laughing, and I told the director, "If you haven't got it in six, you ain't got it, because I'm not burying my other dog, you know." So no way, no way, I'm gonna do that. So anyway, if they watch the movie and they see that scene where I'm walking down there, that was one of the stories from the thing, and it won best feature film at two Christian film festivals.
Oh,
The Kendrick Brothers Festival, two of the biggest film festivals. It won best. I was nominated for best male actor. I didn't get it, so they're dead to me, personally. And you understand.
of course,
Uh,
and they're dead to
yeah.
me too, Jeff.
Thank
They're
you,
dead to me as
thank you
well.
for your support. I appreciate it.
We golfers have to stick together.
Absolutely, we're gonna play some golf, man. I didn't even know that.
Oh, I'm not
And
good, so it'll be a
it
long day,
doesn't
but we'll
it
have
doesn't
fun.
matter. My gosh, I played
No,
with
we'll
my
have a great
son.
time.
I play with my son. He doesn't know how to play. I am. I just like going out with people I enjoy spending 2 or 3 hours with, or 4 hours, or whatever it is. And yeah, we'll play. Believe me, I'll hunt you down, man.
Oh,
I may even
I won't be hard
I
to
may even
find.
find. Oh, please, yeah, and tell people, please come on out. It's a bell court. We're trying to sell it out. We want to pack it out, and I'll be there. Candace Kirkpatrick will be there. Kate Larson, the young actress that played my granddaughter, will be there. It also won. Um, I think it took second, um, for best gospel message, and
Oh, wow.
behind a movie that was a gospel message. I mean, that's what they're. We just kind of put that in. The writer and the producer, Scott Peterson. This is a ministry for him. He funded it himself. He took donations, but he's done. This is his fourth film. This is his ministry. He's a real estate guy. But yeah, it's a little engine that could. It'll be interesting to see what God does with this, and where the distribution goes. And so it would help if people would come on out and support this particular thing, and then we'll go from here. But
Yeah, definitely. I will reach out to. I still have, thankfully, a lot of friends down that way, and I'll let them know. I like
man,
to
that's
send them
great. Yeah,
as
they can
much
go on.
information
I
as I
think
can.
on my website, and I think there's a link
Oh
for
yeah,
tickets.
while we're here, why don't you tell us where people can learn more about you, your tour
Oh,
dates, and all that fun stuff?
I used to think you could Google clean comedian, but Nate Bargatze has taken all that. You know? So yeah, it's funny because my social media person said we're trying to get you back on because it used to be if you Google clean comedian, my name came up first in the Google search, and now it's Nate Bargatze, Nate Land, and yeah,
That's not even right alphabetically. It should be
no, it
you
isn't.
first.
And I told him the last time I saw him, quit selling so many tickets, man. You're killing us. You know. So, but yeah, just Jeff Allen. Just Google, Christian comedian, clean comedian. But Jeff Allen, and JeffAllenComedy.com is my website, and everything for that's related to me is there. Our podcast is Who Gave Jeff Allen a Podcast, with Carolyn Xavier, the recovering Californian. She's worth looking up on Instagram. Very funny videos about a Californian who moved to Tennessee, and just really, really funny stuff. That's how I met her. I started following her on Instagram. I saw her at Zany's one night, and we got to talking, and she said, "I think I'm getting off the road. My 15-year-old is starting. I want to raise my 15-year-old." And I looked her in the eye and I said, "5 years from now, you're going to be grateful that that's the choice you made. Believe me, with what I'm dealing with my family because of my road work and all that other stuff. I told my son a couple weeks ago. I said, I don't know if I'd make the same choice now, knowing what I know. I love what I do. I love where God has taken me, and it's really good now. But if it cost me my sons, then it was too high a price to pay. So anyway, that JeffAllenComedy.com, and all of that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Before we wrap up, we do kind of something. I like to do something here at the end. My youngest son Matthew is profoundly autistic, and we use timers for him. And couple of years ago, all of a sudden we were going to do something, and I said, "Okay, Matthew, I'm setting a timer for 5 minutes," and he said, "And 9 seconds." So for whatever reason, ever since then, every time we set a timer, we have to add 9 seconds. And over the time, it just got me to thinking, well, 9 seconds means something to him for whatever reason. I don't
Really?
understand it, but I've come to realize that you can say a lot in 9 seconds. You can make a difference in 9 seconds. So I like here at the end of the show to give you Matthew's 9 seconds to just put
Wow.
something out there that hopefully will touch them. It could be ridiculous, like mine when I get my Matthew's 9 seconds. Mine is if someone offers you a breath mint, take it. That
I like that.
that that's my Matthew's 9 seconds. So, but I just wanted, and between you and I, we don't have a timer, and but just
Right.
something short that is coming on your heart, or something that will just change the world for me, Jeff, in 9 seconds.
Well, what just popped into me while you were talking was open your Bible, rediscover your Bible, find your Bible again. So many believers just walk away from it, and I was one of them. I glossed over it for a couple of years, and I'm really, really discovering the Bible. I started a reading plan. Um, it was an interesting reading plan. It's from John MacArthur. He said, take a small book in the New Testament, John 1, 5 chapters, read it every day for 30 days, and take 20 minutes and start at Genesis 1. So you do 20 minutes every day in the Old Testament, and for a month you read a book. And then you pick a larger book, the book of John, break it into 3 sections, 7 chapters each, read 7 chapters for 30 days, 7 chapters for 30 days, 7 chapters for 30 days. And he said, in 3 years, you'll get through the New Testament. And he said, your knowledge of the New Testament, at least the understanding of it. And then you got to start. But anyway, that popped into my head.
Oh, that
Find
was
your
perfect.
Bible again. And that's for the believers. And you know who you are. You know, it's an arcane book. It really is. It's difficult, but it's certainly worth the effort. It changed the world. Did you know in India when the Brits got kicked out, they left behind the Bible? In the areas of India that have picked up that book and embraced it are flourishing, and the other parts of India that stuck with the caste system and the Hinduism are still, you know uh, where they were 100 years ago. You know, it's a fascinating, amazing book. Changed the world, and we tend to look at it. And every home has one. It's covered in dust. But that's my mantra going forward in my work is just rediscover, find the Bible, because it's in our culture it's mocked and made fun of, but it will change your life.
Jeff, thank
That's
you.
not nine
I,
seconds, by the way.
no, no, we'll edit it. It might sound a little odd, but no, but the original, pick it up, find it, read it. That
Yeah,
fits, and that's.
that's
But
it
Jeff,
does.
oh
Yes,
man,
it does.
that
Yeah.
it's been a great pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time.
you, Roger,
And
man. I appreciate you. When I saw you guys on my calendar, I said, "Oh my gosh, CCM's going to talk to me." You know. Yeah.
so it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much. We will continue to keep your family in our prayers going
Well, if you
forward.
can get up here for the movie, maybe we can play a round of golf before you head out of town.
I will do everything I can. I work at a school, so it's kind of
Yeah.
difficult
Oh,
to
especially.
but this is something I'm gonna. And even if I can't get down there, I do need to get down there to see a lot of people that
Yeah.
I truly miss. And if I'm down that way, I will definitely reach out, and we'll see what we can do. And I'll
Thank you,
see
man.
how many balls I can lose with Jeff Allen, and I will count
Absolutely, man.
each one a great treasure.
I'll give you a ball with my website on it so you can leave it. That's advertising.
Yeah, see, I just won't hit those near the water because it's going in.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you, man. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, Jeff. You take care of yourself.
All right. Bye bye.